Hello. We are back. Okay. Welcome to the stream where we are continuing to work on the SHADOWDARK adventure. Where we left off, we're working on some patrons of note within the Torn Tapestry, which is going to be the kind of first area of rest that the players have in the town, fittingly referred to as Last Breath. So I'm going to read the outline again for the adventure. Days and nights lengthen in equal measure. The world holds its breath, afraid of what will it mean if time ceases altogether. Adventurers are told of a recent prophecy that a new mountain range, either lost to time or memory, has once again shown itself on the land. It lies far to the north, referred to by all as the Forgotten Felm. Recent unceasing tremors have torn a pathway deep into the mountain, leaving the veins of the earth here bare for any who would dare to enter. Within the Forgotten Fell, time does not function as it usually does. In many places, the veil tears, and to be able to distinguish what is from this reality or not becomes more difficult the deeper one goes in. Many different factions have interests in the Forgotten Fell, those who wish to stop this process of entropy, and others who wish to use this power for their own malignant pursuits. Okay. So, we are working on the patrons of this tavern. And this place in the Last Breath, after they travel deeper, there are these green lanterns casting light along the edges and within it, and then just kind of a black void further out from the outskirts of this town. So, this place is from essentially from a different time, like ripped from where they were, and now they're here in the Forgotten Fell. But this specific town, Last Breath, which used to be an outpost, has been trapped within the Forgotten Fell for a long time. So all the denizens are kind of used to being here in this strange place. So we have Horace, who explores. She is an older woman, and she used to be a soothsayer in the outpost beforehand, and now is kind of occasionally battling the strange monsters, and she has a different access to magic that she didn't have before. And her husband, who used to be a professor, is now studying in kind of the different areas within the Forgotten Fell. So he's kind of a source of knowledge for the players to be able to tap into. And then we have Hans, who is an outsider and a mercenary by trade. He had heard stories of the Forgotten Fell and had a mage tell him that the relics that lie within could allow him to retire for life. Now all he has to do is retrieve them, which he is willing to do by any means necessary. So for the next person, I want them to be a member of this cult that essentially wants this process to continue. Their stated goal is for time to cease, and they believe it would give humanity essentially an evolution from where they are right now. That's kind of the general outline that I have for that. So, thinking of, it's going to be like a group of them, maybe 4 of the members of this cult that are here within this tavern. They're not outwardly violent to anybody in the tavern itself or anything like that. And the Last Breath as a whole is kind of this this sanctuary zone where people aren't really aggressive to each other here. And we do need to implement some things as to why that is the case. Because sure, you could have it to where people want to still just be able to use this place for supplies and everything like that as they have their further ventures deeper in. But at the same time, there's probably some strength of arm that they have to dissuade people from getting violent or getting into altercations or stealing from the residents here, things like that. So I'm not sure. We could have it to where the tavern keeper is someone, because he's already kind of an aloof figure. He has this strange bronze mask, and then his arms are completely wrapped in old bandages, so maybe he has access to some kind of greater magic or something like that. But we'll have a few characters, I think, like that, and then that'll kind of work itself out. So, okay, so we're going to do scene names. We have a moon horse, Jebediah. So this person is also an outsider. They're not from the Forgotten Fell. So we can kind of pull from any type of culture for this. Let's do... I think Valen. Valena. I think Valena works. Okay. So Valena is another outsider who is a member within the cult of... Should we do the cult of, like, the dead clock? Something in terms of relating to time stopping, I think. So, cult of the timeless, or the timeless cult. Or we could do a member within the... Okay, we'll say member within the cult of the Shattered Hourglass. I like that. And then we can work on that later. But I think for now, and maybe they don't call themselves a cult, perhaps, but they definitely do have religious elements, so we'll work on that. But to a lot of other people, it's like, yeah, of course they're a cult. Valena, let's add that to our dictionary. Is an outsider who's a member within the cult of the Shattered Hourglass. She is with 3 other disciples. Who are resting here before venturing deeper once again to seek out not relics, but yeah, definitely to kind of pursue the goal of continuing this process of time stopping. So maybe nobody knows this, or people are at least suspicious of it, but this cult, they do kill adventurers who are outward about their goals if they're trying to stop this process, because they want time to cease. But I guess their outward thing would just be they are kind of further tearing the veil between reality and non-reality. So before venturing deeper once again to seek out points of inflection, or maybe points of refraction within the Forgotten Fell. She is with 3 other disciples who are resting here before venturing deeper once again to seek out points of refraction within the Forgotten Fell, so that they they may draw upon its power. Yeah, so we could have maybe from outward, it's just they're trying to use the power from this place, like the innate, just like strange magic that is coming from here. That's definitely an option. Yeah, that's their outward goal, but then, you know, they are also killing adventurers who are trying to stop this, or people who are trying to hunt down entities that maybe kind of further this, not corruption, but breaking down of reality. I'm sure there would be groups that would call it corruption. It's a good degradation of time. I don't know. I definitely need to think of like a shorter, more functional word for that maybe everybody refers to it as the breaking. I think that works. It sounds, yeah. Within the Forgotten Fell. Okay. People, or we'll say common knowledge. Common knowledge of this cult is that they well, actually, with the previous sentence. So, she's with 3 other disciples who are resting here before venturing deeper once again to seek out points of refraction within the Forgotten Fell so that they may draw upon its power. Or at least, that is what they let. That is what people... At least that is the goal. People outside of the cult believe they follow, or believe they see. No, believe they desire. Okay. Or at least that is the goal people outside of their cult believe they desire. The truth is they want to further the breaking by any means. No, I'm fucking saying by any means necessary multiple times. Okay. The truth is that they want to further the breaking and are willing to kill adventurers and assist entities deeper within for the sake of this goal. Let's not say adventurers. Kill those who are trying to stop the breaking. And they assist entities deeper within. The truth is they want to further the breaking and are willing to kill those who are trying to stop the breaking. And they assist entities deeper within for the sake of this goal. Say dark entities deeper within for the sake of this goal. She wears robes. What color robes for this cult? I'm trying to think. I don't want red. Could do blue. Maybe white. White's pretty evocative. White robes with gold trim? We could do gold trim. I'll come back to that. Okay, she wears white wolf. Right. Wow. White robes with gold trim. And those around her are the same. Okay. And the members around her wear the same. She has approachable personality. Is very interested in the characters. Yeah, we'll say that. She's very interested in the goals of new arrivals to last breath. In reality, she is keeping tabs on those she and her and those she will need. In reality, she is keeping tabs on those she will need to destroy. Those who oppose the goals of the Shattered Hourglass. Okay. Valena is another outsider who is a member within the cult of the Shattered Hourglass. She is with 3 other disciples who are resting here before venturing deeper once again to seek out points of refraction within the Forgotten Fell so that they may draw upon its power. Or at least that is the goal people outside of their cult believe they desire. The truth is, they want to further the breaking and are willing to kill those who are trying to stop the breaking, and they assist dark entities deeper within for the sake of this goal. She wears white robes with gold trim, and the members around her wear the same. She has an approachable personality and is very interested in the goals of new arrivals to last breath. In reality, she is keeping tabs on those who oppose the goals of the Shattered Hourglass. Okay, that's great. For now, in terms of an outline, it's definitely very functional. I think we're kind of good on patrons of note for now, because we have Horus, soothsayer, her husband who's a scholar. Obviously, we have the tavern keeper himself, Amun, and then we have Hans, who's outsider and mercenary. And then Valena, so we have the cult. So we kind of have different little pieces for people to interact with, put together. Cool. So let's we'll come back to that realistically, but I do want to also work on other buildings or stores within this place. Okay, so we have classic tavern, as always. Now we... So who is... There is definitely an individual leader within this town. I mean, it's, not necessarily a mayor or something like that, but there is an individual governing body. It's not just like all the people happen to live here, like a neighborhood or something. I like the idea of it being 3 witches. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And then you do have the sort of classic, you know, Three Witches, Three Sisters of Fate. What is that? From, I know from Greek myth. I can't remember their name. Are they really just called Three Sisters of Fate? The Fates. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Nice. I think that'd be cool. So what building would they reside in? Part of me wants to say like an observatory or something like that. We could. Obviously, maybe just a grotto. I like that idea. There's like an outside kind of oasis grotto that they used to. That's where they resided back when it was an outpost in the desert before their whole outpost or town was taken into the Forgotten Fell. And yeah, I like the idea of that being outdoors. And maybe it's kind of, there's like a hill within the last breath. And it's at the top of this hill in the grotto. We could do Grotto of the Fates. Grotto Fates. Or maybe just the grotto. What is the grotto? Makes me think of like a cave that has like just a larger cave, but that people could like go inside it easily. I don't know what the actual definition is. Let's give that a goog, you know, as the kids say. Okay, Merriam-Webster says grotto, an artificial recess or structure made to resemble a cave. But then Cambridge Dictionary, a small cave or an artificial structure that is like a cave, especially when used for religious purposes. That's really interesting. Dictionary.com is a cave or cavern or an artificial cavern recess. Cavern-like recess or structure. I like that. Yeah. Ooh. So these three sisters, the Fates, within the last breath, are also kind of like the religious leaders of the town, which has put them in that position in the first place. Okay. Nice. So damn. I cannot okay. Maybe people just call it the grotto. I can't think of a name for that right now, to be honest. Let's okay, first. Three sisters three sisters reside here. This religious sanctum for the denizens. The last breath. This religious sanctum for the denizens of the last breath is rumored to be how the outpost. Like how the outpost was created in the first place, because it's very ancient and yeah, it was really ancient. So this maybe back when it was in the desert long ago, this grotto existed, and it was people seeking out the fates, these three sisters, and then eventually this small town kind of popped up around the people who sought out their wisdom. Okay, now to get that on the page, this religious sanctum for the denizens of the last breath has existed long before town. Existed long before the outpost itself. At that time, it was just this grotto and the three sisters. Pilgrims would seek out for guidance. At this time, in this long it was just this grotto and the three sisters that pilgrims and others would seek out for guidance. Okay. Religious sanctum for the denizens of the last breath that existed long before the outpost itself. In this ancient time, it was just this grotto and the three sisters inside, and the three sisters within. The pilgrims and others would seek out for guidance. Now they are the de facto leaders. Now they're the leaders of the last breath, and their strange magic has kept this place from harm. If a moon and the townsfolk cannot handle a situation, they are quick to step in and resolve it. Now they are the leaders of the last breath, and their strange magic has kept this place from harm. If Amun and the townsfolk cannot handle a situation, they are quick to step in, resolve it. The sisters are quick to step in and resolve it. I'm thinking that these three sisters who are representative of the fates, the idea of them like cutting the string of individual mortal's life to kill them. I like that. So something akin to that when the situation in the last breath gets to whatever point where it's like they have to step in. So if a moon in the town so cannot handle a situation, the sisters are quick to step in and resolve it. They have magic no one has fully been able to understand. Even outsiders can come to this place. Okay, so I'm gonna do oldest. Actually, instead of oldest, middle, and youngest, let's do the first sister. Their names from Greek mythology pretty bang. Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. Let's do second sister. Lachesis. Atropos. So, this is just the spinner, apparently. The spinner, the allotter. Ah, I need another L in there. Okay. And the inevitable. Yeah. Okay, nice. So, we kind of use that to definitely inform us of their personalities, but then also maybe their abilities. So, first sister, Clotho, the spinner. Kind, gentle to those new to this place. She's kind and gentle to those new to this place. Excited at the future. Future holds for each of them. Stern woman whose emotions are austere. A stern woman whose emotions are austere. Fate has already decided for each. Fate has already been decided, and she tires of those who desperately wait. No, but the inevitable. Stern woman whose emotions are austere. Fate has already been decided, and she tires of those who desperately Seek to change it. Yeah, no. We're going to keep this. We're going to try to go a different direction with the inevitable. I'm going to say stern monotone woman. Okay. There is an edge present to everything she says and does. She knows the end will come, and it fills her with fervor. There is an edge present to everything she does, she says and does. She knows the end will come, and it fills her with a fervor. She knows the end will come for each and every one, and it fills her with a religious fervor. Her abrasive nature makes many shy away from her. Yeah, okay. Her abrasive nature makes many dread her presence. Okay. And we're gonna say that Horus we're gonna change this to Horrit. Horrit originally came to this outpost Horde originally came to this outpost in the desert, seeking their stewardship? No, they're like teaching from, seeking the guidance of the three sisters for Horde originally came to this outpost in the desert, seeking the guidance of the three sisters to learn soothsaying. I'm trying to think of to grow her skill in soothsaying. Okay. Alright. So cloth in. Lachesis, Atropos, Lachesis. Okay. So we have the grotto, which is the religious sanctum for the denizens of the last breath, and then the three sisters of the fates that are kind of the leaders of this town reside within. So, denizens of the last breath will enter the grotto to meditate in silence as the sisters sit upon their dais. Dang. Okay. Denizens of the last breath will enter the grotto to meditate in silence as the three sisters sit upon their dais. Sisters can be seen operating a loom with metallic threads. Okay. Denizens of the last breath will enter the grotto to meditate in silence as the three sisters sit upon the dais. The sisters can be seen operating a loom with metallic threads. There is a sense of peace here for those who have not caused any harm. Those who have not caused the residents any harm. Denizens of the last breath will enter the grotto to meditate in silence as the three sisters sit upon their dais. The sisters can be seen operating a loom with metallic threads. There is a sense of peace here for those who have not caused the residents any harm. Some will ask the sisters a question or request guidance for a problem they are dealing with. Depending on depending on the support that person has given last breath, whether that's returning supplies that they need from deeper within the Forgotten Fell, or from helping with tasks that these the kind of citizens are needing help with, or protecting, like, physically people who are from last breath deeper within the fell, because they do have people who go look for supplies if one of them were to be rescued or something like that. Depending on the relationship? No, depending on the favor they have garnered with last breath, the sisters will answer questions the party has. Okay. Alright, so we have the grotto, the torn tapestry within Last Breath. I do want a third place within here, so let's see. I guess kind of like a functioning like an adventurer's outpost. That would make sense. Or kind of like a job board sort of thing, somewhat of an adventurer's guild. Yeah. Fell walkers. What do you think in terms of names wise? Something for an adventure guild deeper within the fell, maybe even just like Bastion. We could do okay. Walker's Bastion. Let's just work on the next part. Okay, so an adventuring guild? No. An adventuring outpost that also functions as a job board. Should that... does it make sense? I think that makes sense. An adventuring outpost that also functions as a job board. Requests will be submitted for different requests will be submitted by denizens of the Last Breath, jeez, and outsiders. An adventuring outpost that also functions as a job board. Requests will be submitted by denizens of the Last Breath and outsiders. Some seeking certain resources within, deeper within the fell, and others who are seeking protection as they travel. Okay, some seeking certain resources deeper within the Forgotten Fell, and others who are seeking protection as they travel deeper within. Okay, this is all ran by a small group. Small group of warriors called the Fell Walkers. They once were the guards of this town, but they're this is all ran by a small group of warriors called the Fell Walkers. They once were the guards of this town, but their home stayed in this strange place. The needs of their people changed. Okay, so now to think of names for the person who's running this. Mahmoud is a good name. Majid. Mahmoud. We could do Majid. Majid is the... Majid is the head of this group. He's an older battle hardened veteran. Actually came to this once desert outpost to retire. However, things have changed since being within Forgotten Fell. Okay. So, Majid is the leader of this group. He's an older, battle-hardened veteran that actually came to this once desert outpost to retire. However, things have changed since being within the Forgotten Fell. Feels more hale than he used to. And found it necessary feels more hell than he used to and has found it necessary to facilitate work between those who need strength of arm and those who have it. Okay. Majid is the leader of this group, and he's an older battle-hardened change within the fell. Zakir is his second. Zahir is his second in command. Self at times to assist denizens or even take some jobs from outsiders, depending on what they are. Listening to this music in the background, there's a baby crying in it. That is wild. Well, I guess it is horrific. Yeah. Okay. Cesare is a second in command and will often go himself at times to assist denizens or even take jobs from outsiders, depending on what they are. He's a young, driven warrior. And is at times overconfident in his abilities. It is almost by luck that he has stayed alive. Let's do another one. Let's do Bilal. Bilal is another veteran of the Fell Walkers. Used to go out on expeditions often, but has stopped. He used to go out on expedition often, but has stopped recently. He is aloof with party with the players, but if Bilal is another veteran of Fellwalkers. He used to go out on expeditions often, but has stopped recently. He is aloof with the players, but if they assist him, his personal tasks. He's aloof with the players, but if they assist him in his personal tasks, if they assist with some jobs he has anonymously posted, he will approach them, give them some unsavory work that requires great discretion. He has assassination contracts for certain outsiders and denizens deeper within the Fell. He has assassination contracts available for certain outsiders and denizens deep within the Forgotten Fell. Okay. All right. We are about to hit an ad break. Coming up just a little over an hour now. Gonna do an ad break so I can keep pre-rolls off. Got about 5 seconds before pre-rolls turn on. We'll be right back in about 3 minutes. Okay. All right. We are back. So, we have the Fellwalkers. An adventuring outpost functions as a job board. Let's say an expedition outpost. Okay. Requests will be submitted by denizens of the Last Breath and outsiders, some seeking certain resources for the Forgotten Fell, and others who are seeking protection as they travel deeper within. This is all ran by a small group of warriors called the Fell Walkers. They once were the guards of this town, but as their home stayed in a strange place, the needs of their people changed. Majid is the leader of this group. He's an older, battle-hardened veteran that actually came to this once desert outpost to retire. However, things have changed since being within the Forgotten Fell. He feels more hale than he used to, and has found it necessary to facilitate work between those who need strength of arm and those who have it. Zahir is his second in command and will often go himself at times to assist denizens or even take some jobs from outsiders, depending on what they are. He is a young, driven warrior and is at times overconfident in his abilities. It is almost by luck that he has stayed alive. Bilal is another veteran of the Fell Walkers. He used to go out on expeditions often, but has stopped recently. He's aloof with the players, but if they assist with some jobs he is anonymously posted, he will approach them and give them some unsavory work that requires great discretion. He has assassination contracts available for certain outsiders and denizens deeper within the Forgotten Fell. Okay. Great. Okay, you know, I think we're going to wrap there. Got about 600 or so words. A little over that, actually. It's some decent progress. So we have 2 new locations, at least generally finished up within the Last Breath. And then I think it's time to move on to what's next. The next kind of adventuring locale within the Forgotten Fell. Okay, awesome. Thanks everybody who stopped by. I really appreciate it. I do have a sponsorship with Factor. You can use the link. I think the chatbot is working. At least it's supposed to. If not, I'm just going to copy and paste that in chat. If you're interested, that is there for you guys. You get 50% off your first order and 20% off the next 4 orders that you have with them. So it helps out the stream, supports, and I definitely appreciate it. Alright, well, until next time, goodbye.